What's up, everybody? So I just finished uploading a video talking about how I wasn't sure when Convicting a Murderer was going to air because the Daily Wire Plus streaming service listed it as September the 7th, which is today, but the creator, Sean Reck, listed it as September the 8th, which is tomorrow. But I just went and looked at the Daily Wire Plus app, and it is there. At least episode 1 is there. I just finished watching it on my phone. It is there for free. I didn't even have to sign in. So it just popped up on the main page and was there for me to watch. Before we get into the content, I want to say to whoever edited, produced it, and put this thing together did a magnificent job. It is a very easy watch in that regards. It is very, very well put together. I don't mean the content. I just mean how everything was shot, edited, and put together. So hats off to the team that did that. They did a very good job. Now let's get into the content. Now I'm not going to go over obviously every single little detail verbatim that they talked about in Convicting a Murderer. I'm just going to go over some points. I want people to go out there and watch it. I want people to be able to discuss it with me in full. So these videos are just going to be sort of a cliff notes of what they talk about. I am going to do some discussion, of course, but it is not going to be verbatim everything you would see in it. I would like people to watch it so that we can discuss it together. So they open up the first episode with the creators of Making a Murderer talking to Stephen Avery while he was in prison. Candace Owens gives her opinion on the filmmakers. Dean Strang, who is one of Stephen Avery's original trial attorneys, gave his opinion on the filmmakers, the original Making a Murderer filmmakers. Then they have a few clips of the original Making a Murderer filmmakers. They talk about the release of Making a Murderer. Candace states that this is a stretch. I don't know how true this is. Maybe it is true. I don't know. Seems like a stretch to me. But Candace Owens states, you can say Netflix made their entire empire based on the small town of Manitowoc County. She's talking about, of course, of how popular Making a Murderer got and how small of a town Manitowoc County is. But to say that they made their entire empire, I'm sure it helped. But their entire empire based on one documentary, I don't think so. They had some popular things before that and some popular things after that. Sure, it probably generated a ton of interest in the streaming service, but an entire empire? I don't know. That's a little bit of a stretch. They talk about Stephen Avery's original wrongful conviction. Anjanette Levy is in it. She is one of the reporters, or was one of the reporters during the original trial. She is currently on the YouTube channel, the television show. I'm not sure if they're actually on TV or not, but they're on YouTube, Law and Crime. Very good host. They show original interviews with Stephen Avery on the news before he was arrested. They talk about how the RAV4 was found so fast. They start interviewing people, which they call case enthusiasts. Now they talk about how they originally seemed like they were going to be on Stephen Avery's side, but I was like, no, there's something funny here. These people are definitely going to switch. These people are definitely going to have a heel turn here. Saying things like how the person that found a RAV4 made a beeline for the car. She sounded like she won a game show when she was talking on the phone after she found the RAV4. Candace Owens then mentions how the key was found in Stephen Avery's bedroom and the blood vial. The case experts pop back up and talk about how the key was found after 7 searches by people that shouldn't have actually been searching. They focus again on the blood vial. They mention Brendan Dassey and his confession. People state that he was a lamb led the slaughter. That's what one of the experts stated. Now, they have a number of experts, but only a couple of them end up saying that they believe Stephen Avery is guilty. I do assume that there's going to be more as the documentary goes on, so we will see what happens there. But this is just episode 1. They talk about how, like I just said, Brendan Dassey was a lamb led the slaughter. They show clips of Brendan's confession. They state that Brendan had no chance in that confession. He was going to lose every time. That's what some of the case experts stated. Candace mentions how the show exploded on Netflix, about how it became so popular on the streaming service. It became one of the first things that people binge watched from start to finish. They watched all 10 episodes in one sitting. Now, Candace Owens states this, and I want to be clear. This is a quote from Candace Owens from episode 1 of the documentary, about halfway through, and to me, it was the most powerful thing, the most powerful quote from episode 1. Here's what Candace Owens stated. She stated, "Did white people just want their Michael Brown moment? Was this the beginning of White Lives Matter?" Now, that is a very, very strong statement. They talk about how people were signing petitions on behalf of Stephen Avery in mid-January after the documentary originally aired. They talk about how celebrities were jumping on board and tweeting out their opinions on the case supporting Stephen Avery. They talk about how popular it became online. They talk about truthers and guilters and the war that eventually became between them. If you're on one side, you can't support the other side, and vice versa, and these two groups of people just clash. I would like to think, at least this is my opinion on myself, I lean more towards the common sense end of things. I always go into everything with an open mind. I read Ken Kratz's book. I read Jerry Buting's book. I read John Farrick's book. I have a couple other books that I haven't read yet, and I always go into everything with an open mind. Myself, I like to go out and gather as much information as I possibly can before I make a decision. Do I have an opinion? Absolutely. But am I shut off from learning other people's opinions from other sides? Absolutely not. And that is the main reason why I do these videos on every true crime video that I do, is I'm extremely interested in learning both sides of things. I respect everybody's opinion, no matter if you agree with me or disagree with me. These are just my videos, and I'm giving my opinion on them. I absolutely watch other people's videos. I'm watching Convicting a Murderer right now to learn more information about the case. Candace Owens states she started looking into the Avery family, and she just doesn't mean Stephen Avery, and she was blown away with what she discovered. Some of the experts say Making a Murderer just played on emotions and didn't give the full story. But then as they dug deeper on their own, they found more information. They talk about the Foul Play website, which I think was one of the original main sites to put up information about the Making a Murderer case. It is an excellent source of information, so definitely check out the Foul Play site. They have helped me numerous times over the years. It is a great source of information. They talk about Stephen Avery's past crimes. They talk about how Making a Murderer left out a crime that Stephen Avery committed somewhere on November the 8th, but Making a Murderer only talked about the crime he committed at the same place just a few days before. They talk about other break-ins he did that Making a Murderer didn't mention. They talk about a break-in that he committed on his honeymoon in 1982. They talk about how Stephen Avery harassed an ex, stalked an ex named Wendy. No formal charges were brought though, so it's allegations. That's what they state in the documentary. More original interviews with Stephen Avery while he was in prison with the original Making a Murderer filmmakers. They talk about how Stephen Avery ran his cousin off the road, but they state that Making a Murderer didn't air her version of events, which look like it is going to appear in the next episode of Convicting a Murderer. They run a little highlight reel, a little trailer of things to come at the end of episode 1. So that's episode 1 of Convicting a Murderer. That's everything that they talked about. It is extremely interesting. It is up for free right now on the Daily Wire Plus app. I definitely recommend go giving it a watch and then come back and then we can discuss it together. Go do that. And then let me know what you think. Leave some comments below. I hope you're having a good day, and I will see you again soon.